Local Decision 2022. I'm Eric Nelson, North Metro TV. Thanks for tuning us in. And right now, Anthony Wilder is with us. He's running for Spring Lake Park Mayor. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Eric, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
this is great.
The countdown to November 8th is on. Any jitters?
None. No, this is this campaign cycle has been very fruitful. There's just so much going on in my life, and this is just another aspect that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, and you've run for office before, so you know the drill. What's it like out there, boots on the ground in 2022, as you tell people from Spring Lake Park that you're the guy who should be the mayor?
What I have witnessed and have experienced, there's truly nothing more heartwarming than seeing that door open up in front of you and seeing you talk to me about the issues that are truly on your mind. And from 16 and 18 and running for House seats, it was maybe a different dynamic than this particular campaign that I'm in, nonpartisan. The conversations are just fantastic. Our smaller city is very, very tuned in to the issues and what's going on with the city. So the conversations, I try to halt them a little bit more than I did in the past, just because 5, 8, 10 minutes at the door, you do really need to continue. But it's about circling back, always paying attention to the conversations at hand, and that you're listening.
And when you ran for the House, you had a party label, right? So
I
you were
did.
GOP. And immediately that's going to trigger a response, good or bad, from whoever's door you knock on. But it's much different now, isn't it?
What I'd like to continue to say about that is you can't be on the ticket if you're not endorsed. And that was just another way for me to make it onto the ticket. Now, given the race in 2016 for a candidate seeking that title of state representative, I mean, it was much different from right now asking for mayor. The conversations are just much more different. So,
one thing I saw in your bio, you don't have any political signs in front yards or on intersections at major streets and boulevards. Why is that?
A couple of different reasons. I think that signs are a good way to show support for your candidate, but I can't help but feel that the costs associated with them, the amount of time that candidates are asked to put together different cycles of donations through different means, isn't where I wanted to place my time and my efforts this time. I've done enough work. My name's been out there enough, and just seeing my name on the ticket should stem the community's involvement to research their candidates. And for me, it's not that I don't qualify for this position, but I haven't earned that sign, I think, in that yard yet. And maybe upon re-election, I might change my stance a little bit. But for right now, it's what body of work has the person put forward, and just limiting the campaign costs and the contributions, I think has been more of a focus point for me in this particular election.
If there's a cluster of signs in a yard or at an intersection, does that maybe take away from your message? In other words, as you're driving by and you see 5 or 6 or 7 signs, does that really have an impact?
Are you asking if
Yeah.
it's an impact?
Positively for a person running?
I'm sure, certainly it does. I think that showing your support for a candidate, but they are, at the end of the day, in my opinion, ugly. I think that signs being cluttered in people's yards, however, support, I feel are still really ugly.
All right, in your opinion right now, what is a positive about Spring Lake Park?
Oh, there's too many positives, but what I do like about our small 7,000 city is your involvement. It's truly heartwarming to see and hear you at the doors about your passion for our city. So many, and I think maybe my favorite is that the residents, so many of them have been there for 30, 40 years, and their knowledge of the city and where it's grown is just it's overwhelming, and it's beautiful that people have chose to take to live in that city as long as they have, and I think that our community involvement and is the positive network that I like to pull from.
So when you've done the door knocking and the meet and the greet and all that stuff, what are the residents of Spring Lake Park saying? What are some of the main core issues they're concerned about?
Public safety, as mine. My wife and I, we've taken certain measures, as far as the Nest cams and the different ADT and different means. And now running for this particular seat, and talking to you, it's very straightforward that our public needs just that protection. If you look at per capita, I think it's 36 per thousand incidences. It ranks us nationally for one of the cities with the most crime per capita, and our small city of 7,000 people. So that's alarming, and an objective of mine that I want to pay attention to. I feel that we can do that in certain measures. We have 4 main stoplights, 6 parks. I mentioned on my bio that I feel that blue light systems or something comparable to that, just to provide those areas that people are going to be traveling through our city, that they feel comfortable at all times. And our response from our law enforcement is fantastic. They make up a little bit less than half of our city staff, and I just want to continue to have the opportunity to work with them to make our city safer.
So the blue light system, would that be similar to call boxes? I know they have
Exactly.
those on the freeway systems
Exactly.
out in Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Yep, I've been around, and upon my trip out to visit family out in Boston, Massachusetts, it was on every corner. They wanted to make sure that their cities and the residents were safe at all times, and I think it's just a measure that's really easy, given how easy it is to navigate through our city for our law enforcement to respond to certain areas that need the help.
Minnesota State Highway 65, it's
Yeah.
certainly been talked about ad nauseum. There's still not a solution. What would be your idea for fast tracking this, but getting it done the right way?
Well, our MnDOT, and I think that what our city and county have done for their studies and making sure that they're doing it the right way. And I think it is the first the step, and that they're integrated. I believe our county members are very aware of the situation in the build for 65. Over 20+ thousand people travel Highway 65 in our community every single day. I'm refraining from saying that we're a gateway community, but at the same time, you can't make your way from Blaine to Fairleigh without taking a stop in Spring Lake Park. So it's putting the faith and the trust into our county and into the conversations that are being had with the MnDOT to make sure that the studies are coming back. This is the right approach. But always encouraging them to continue their measures and actually making tread and getting that work done is what I want to continue with this position.
What kind of benefits would Spring Lake Park get from a free-flowing Highway 65 that isn't gummed up constantly with all these lights and traffic?
Well, the commutes. Nobody likes sitting in their vehicles for a longer extended period of times than they like to. And I just want to be a part of those conversations with our city and our county and our state, for that matter. When dollars and funds are available, I want to be on the forefront of acquiring those funds. And as far as just the traffic is concerned, people do need to commute, and to make that a freer flowing, like you said, is important for their travel, so that they can make it home, that they can make it to work in a very safe, swift manner.
Spring Lake Park has a relatively small footprint, but if there were to be a build-out, more development, you've been quoted as saying that elected officials need to get creative there. Can you expound on that?
Right. I feel that I've identified 3 different areas within our city that can stand some build out, and it's nothing more than getting a city planner city developer. You know, many of our city staff wear so many different hats, and just to talk about that real quick, I hope that within this position that I have that opportunity to sit with each member on our staff to see how many hats are they really wearing. What are they comfortable in their positions? Are they taking on too much? Do we need to add some more staff in certain areas to make these developments and these thought processes come to fruition? You know, many of our city plans, that's exactly what they are. You know, just building out, putting those plans down. What does that 5-year, 10-year, 20 years look like? And right now, we really are on the wrong side of a revenue stream within our city.
You've been on the Coon Creek watershed the last 6
Right.
years. How will that help you as mayor? And look, we all know, I mean, clean, safe water is critical in all phases of life, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. That was an amazing experience, and it was a position appointed by our county. And for me, of the 6 years, I was president of 5, and that allowed me to lead public forums. Maybe that's on the front side of this position. You have to lead the meetings, and you have to feel comfortable in that situation, in those scenarios, and welcome on the public engagement, welcome that conversation from our city officials. And for me, it's nothing more than putting all that the energy together, because we are a smaller city. We have a very finite plans that can be done. I just feel that with great creativity and a little bit more knowledge from our city officials to take on those certain areas to build up and to increase that revenue that I was talking about within our city.
Parks and green spaces, do you think Spring Lake Park checks all those boxes at this point in time, or do you want to improve it?
Very minimally that I want to improve it. I think that their locations are fantastic, but we have younger families coming in. We have families that are growing with the grandparents that are welcoming the time that they spend with their grandchildren. But I believe our parks are not offering everything that they can to younger families and younger children to enjoy. I feel that a lot of the monkey bars and the basketball courts and the hockey rinks, and I think those are great. But what are they doing for the younger, maybe sub 10? Like those little splash pods and just different ways to incorporate different means to function a little bit more smoothly and more fun. I think that our city deserves it. But we have 6 beautiful parks. I just want to add to them. I don't want to take anything away from them.
And in the last 2 or 3 decades, Spring Lake Park, like a lot of other suburbs in the Twin Cities, the demographics have shifted a bit. It's more diverse. Can you relate to everybody in your community?
100%, absolutely. My Espanol's getting better every day, and my wife's Colombian, and I welcome that diversity wholesomely. I think that it's nothing but positives that can come from all diversity, all backgrounds, and our city's just ripe. I feel that in the next 10 years, many who have spent those 30, 40 years in our cities may move on, and who's entering our cities? It's going to be those younger families. Yeah. It's going to be those teenagers that are going to be immersed within our city, and I can only imagine that the diversity is going to climb, and that's just fine by me.
So, as somebody is cruising down the newly improved Highway 65 in the future, why should they stop in Spring Lake Park? What's a good reason to say, hey, you know what, I want to get lunch here, or go shopping
Absolutely.
here, or go to one of these parks?
Well, in our limited space on 65, I feel that there's 2 major areas just off 65 and maybe even University that we can clean up. It just, we're an aging community, and putting those funds into just facelifts, making sure that our city is really clean looking, that it's welcoming. In addition to that, right now, getting off the beaten path and going to our coffee shops and even the Hy-Vees, it's not just the easiest way to get off the highway. So it starts with there. What type of development do you want? Do you want a lot more shops? Do you want different restaurants? Do you want different entities to come into our city, is welcoming those conversations, putting out those plans, but really making it accessible. So when people are exiting off 65, that they're not spending a ton of time at a stoplight or trying to come onto oncoming traffic, because it's going to be a lot smoother, right?
Yes, indeed. That'll be a good day for all of us.
Indeed.
Anthony, thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely.
And good
It's my
luck as
pleasure,
we get
Eric.
closer to election
Thank you, everyone.
day. All right. He's Anthony Wilder, running for Spring Lake Park Mayor. This is Local Decision 2022.